Hi, welcome to This Week in Ames. I'm Susan Guiazda. On today's show, we check in with the Ames Public Library. My guest today is Lynne Carey, the Ames Public Library Director. Lynne, I know you're busy, but welcome back to the show.
Thanks so much. It's always a pleasure to be here.
So you can't walk or drive by Douglas Avenue without seeing the tremendous progress that is going on to the expansion of the library. Tell us about how that's going.
We're so excited. It's right on schedule. It's under budget. Doesn't get any better than that. We're starting to see exactly how we're going to be able to provide service from the building. Inside, you'll see photos of paint on the walls, and sheetrock is up almost everywhere. Within the next couple of weeks, we'll be putting in flooring. So it really is starting to come together, and we're starting to see the personality of the place rather than just the shell. The shell was exciting enough, but we're very pleased to be moving forward, and it's getting very close.
It is absolutely exciting information. The move to Lincoln Way went very smoothly, and the Lincoln Way facility has actually worked out very nicely for you.
It certainly has.
There's got to be a lot of mixed emotions about, coming back home.
Not really.
You're all very much looking forward to the
very
transition.
much. We were very pleased that the Lincoln Center location worked out so well for us and for the public. We did a lot of planning, and we knew that things would fit in there, but you just never know what will happen when you open the doors, what the ambiance will be, what the security issues will be, and we've been so pleased with how well it has worked for us as a temporary location. But we're kind of getting frayed nerves, and we're hearing more comments from the public about our lack of some services that we just simply can't provide because of the lack of space. So everybody, I think, is getting quite excited about the move back into our wonderfully expanded facility.
I know meeting rooms. The library was always a source of meeting rooms, and not able to do that right now.
Right, and so we've gotten creative, and we have a lot of community partners that we've worked with for years. Many of them have been serving as hosts for programs. We recently completed our 5th grade Battle of the Books and 6th grade Battle of the Books at Ames Middle School. Very appreciative of that partnership, but we are going to be holding Battle of the Books at 515 Douglas next year, and everyone's excited about that. That's just one example. But our programs have been farmed out. We've had to just not do some programming, and so we'll be able to do all of that again once we move back in.
So the process of moving to the Lincoln Way address was a volunteer community effort. Are you looking at moving back in a similar fashion?
We certainly are. It went so well. It not only saved taxpayers a lot of money, but it was a great team building experience. It was a great way for our staff to understand up front how important we are to the community when we had all these volunteers coming forward wanting to be involved. It was a great way for the community to see how our staff works and to accomplish something really quite momentous together. And we don't want to miss that opportunity again. We are experienced, and we have a great cadre of volunteers. We'll be looking for more volunteers, and so we'll just reverse the process.
So you think maybe it went as smoothly as you could ever have hoped for, but could it go even more smooth?
I think one of the things that we had in our favor last time that we couldn't have planned was the weather. This time it will be occurring in the hot season, so we are looking at potentially reduced hours. We really hit it hard last time, not really knowing how it would go, and so we had very long days. By the time we moved in, we had staff members who were near exhaustion, and so we want to be able to move in with staff that is healthy, happy, sane, ready to serve the public. So we probably won't be pushing quite as hard. other than that, the process will be very similar. We'll be moving into new shelving and new furniture, so we won't have to move all of that. However, we will have to clear out of our rental spaces, so there's going to be plenty of work to do and quite a bit of fun associated with it as well.
And you mentioned that'll take place in the summer. You actually are thinking August?
We are. We have a grand announcement. Our board has set the grand opening date, actually grand reopening date, and that is September 14th. So we are working back from that date and trying to schedule all of the things that need to happen while we're closed, and then we'll be setting the closure date, and that will define when the move happens.
That's so exciting. Another rather exciting story that has come out of this whole library expansion has to do with a cat.
Yes.
That there was a cat found in the expanded library that sort of was being fed by the workers.
Well, actually, he wasn't being fed by the workers. We had reports of, I'll just have to tease our general superintendent. He reported that there was a mean, vicious, feral cat in the library and living there and digging through the trash at night, opening up food wrappers and eating scraps.
Did they know it was a cat, or they just thought it was an animal?
They knew it was a cat because he had seen him and reported being afraid.
Very large cat.
You have to know, it is a large cat, but it's a large superintendent too. And so he reported this, and I said, no problem, we'll call animal control, they'll help us out, we'll catch him and relocate him. Not knowing it was a him, but that we would catch the cat. So worked with animal control. They were just incredibly compassionate and wonderful, came in right away, set a live trap, and talked to me quite a bit about, the cat is probably wild and we'll be looking for a farm. If that's not successful, there might not be a great ending to this story. And so I was quite prepared for that. They set a live trap, and within a couple of hours caught quite a large cat. And so they suited up, expecting a wild cat, and opened the cage, and the cat lunged out and cuddled Abby. So they knew at that point it was not a feral cat. He was front declawed and neutered and clearly had been taken care of at some point in his life, but they had no record of a cat.
So describe the cat. What does he look like?
Well, he's beautiful. At that point, he was scraggly and weighed 8 pounds 4 ounces, a large frame, and he was covered in mats and filthy. And traumatized. So he was put up for adoption.
He was cleaned up.
Well, to the extent that they could. He was so matted.
And he was renamed.
Well, he was named Smiles by the animal shelter.
And Smiles is the same name as the library
mascot dog.
The dog.
So it was a little confusing. Lots of interest in him. And
Smiles got his picture on the front page
he
of the paper.
had his picture on the paper, and he was on cable channel 12. So it's quite the celebrity. And I, of course, fell immediately in love with him. I've never had a cat before, and I'm a dog person, and I'm allergic to cats. But I convinced my husband that it was a really good idea for us to consider adopting him. And we finally decided that we would, and I called in, and he had just been adopted. And I was heartbroken. I think my direct quote was, well, as long as he has a good home.
Well, of course.
Yes. And
but the story doesn't end there.
It doesn't end there, because the person who adopted him returned him to the animal shelter. So then I got a call saying, if you would like to adopt him, he's yours.
Well, that seems like fate, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? I had spent some time with him at the shelter, as had my spouse, and I wasn't having an allergic reaction to him. And so we brought him into our lives, and he's just been fantastic. He has adapted very well, clearly was well taken care of in the past, and he's just a sweet, wonderful kitty.
Oh, that's a great
Yes.
story. Now, he's not a library cat. He won't be part of the library.
I don't think he has any interest in being in that building again.
Well, that's a wonderful story. I'm
Yeah.
so glad that, and he's given a new name, right?
He is named Farrell.
Okay.
Sort of play on words with F-E-R-A-L, but his name is F-A-R-R-E-L-L, which was my grandmother's maiden name. And it also in Gaelic means brave one. And I think given his history, he is a very brave kitty.
Well, what a great ending for
Yeah.
Farrell, and what a great story to share with when we open the new library. I hope that Farrell's story becomes part of that.
It's just one of many stories in the Ames Public Library.
Well, Lynn, I know you're busy. I appreciate you stopping by. Such great things are happening. Again, the date for the opening?
September 14th, and we will have some sort of grand civic event and be open for business that day.
You can always get information about the Ames Public Library on your website at amespubliclibrary.org.
Correct.
Also, there's a link to that website on our website at cityofames.org. Lynn, thanks for being here.
Thank you so much.
Well, in addition to the library opening, remember we have some events coming up in April you'll want to make sure to attend. On Saturday, April 26th is the water plant open house. That happens from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Also, on Saturday, April 19th, there's Yardways Free Day. That will be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can get more information on both of those on our website at cityofames.org. Well, that's our show for today. Thanks for watching, and tune in next week for This Week in Ames.